Hey everybody, Saul here at Skookum Scarp. We normally have activity going on out here in November. Um, I just heard a series of weird limb breaks down here. The dog is definitely she is smelling something. Because right after that happened, her nose went up, and she was definitely smelling from the same area. But you can tell it's totally calm right now. The only sound is the occasional raindrop. And then somewhere right down in here, there was just this whole weird series of limb breaks, large limb breaks. What was kind of interesting was that I almost never make sounds into the woods, and when I was sitting on the porch earlier, I kind of made a couple funny little sounds. I don't do like the Sasquatch howls, that sort of thing, but sometimes I like to just, I guess, occasionally make these little noises. Just a couple minutes after I did that, I heard these limb breaks. So, who knows? Could just be coincidence. Maybe it was earlier wind damage. Could be some other creature. I don't know. But it was definitely kind of weird considering the time of year. Okay, I'm back in the cabin now. I don't really want to hang out there too much. But yeah, I have no idea what that was. That could have been anything, I guess. But at the same time, this is one thing, the timing, the sun just went down a little bit ago, and for us that's usually when they've been the most active, and I believe personally that's because they're letting us know they're here, it's their time to be in the woods, and they don't want us here, and they don't want the dog here. But I wanted to tell one quick story just before I move on to the next season and all that, because they usually aren't active around here in the deep winter months. Once the leaves drop, they tend to be a lot more scarce, and or they're a lot more stealthy because they are still roaming around, but because they don't have good cover without the leaves, then they're finding other ways to be stealthy and just kind of avoiding us, whether it's timing or however it is that they get it worked out. But a few weeks ago, I got up here, and I got here really late at night, got into the cabin, sat down, and was just looking at my phone or whatever. And the dog, she just wouldn't leave me alone. Now, this dog has been here with me for, I guess, about 7 years now, 6, 7 years. Uh, we've had all kinds of crazy, what I believe are Sasquatch experiences together, and when you work long hours for years at a time with a dog that's a working dog, you establish a pretty unique relationship with them, and because you're working. And part of her thing is she tells us what's around and all of that. So she was sitting here, and she just wouldn't leave me alone. She wouldn't stop staring at me. And then, I'd say, hey, go sit down or whatever. And she'd come back and she would jump in my lap, which she is not a lap dog with me. And I was like, okay, that is really weird. And then, normally if she kind of wants attention or whatever, after a couple minutes, if I tell her, lay down, chill out, she does. But she wouldn't stop staring at me. And the other thing that she was doing is that she would just kind of pace around the apartment with her nose in the air. Like, I don't know if you remember the old Bugs Bunny cartoons when the granny would put the pies out and Bugs Bunny would float through the air. You can almost see that she's following some scent in the air, and she's just like moving around the cabin in this way with her nose up and letting me know, there's something right here. I smell it in the cabin. And then she would sit down and stare at me and jump in my lap, and this went on. And this dog, she doesn't ask a lot of me. She's a great working dog and all of that, but I could tell she didn't want to be here. She wasn't going to leave me alone until we left, and so we did. We went down into a different part of the property that's more open and slept in the RAV for the night, because she wasn't going to leave me alone. You know, that was just too weird. And so we tend to get activity like this in the fall because they're finishing up what they're doing in the lowlands. Personally, I believe that they spend at least most of their time in the winter further up, in some areas I've identified that are like thick, isolated woods where they don't have to worry about any human intrusion. They can kind of drop their guard, so to speak. Um, but yeah, that's kind of my update right now. If anything else happens tonight, I'll definitely shoot a video about it. Thanks for watching.